Everybody, good afternoon. Wherever you're watching from, I am live from Lagos, and I have with me the representative of the Gospel Apostolic Church. Some of you remember recently we had a blind pastor by name Pastor Garba, who alleged that he was shot in the eyes within the premise of the church, a Gospel Apostolic Church, um, founded by late Reverend Sadela. So the church is responding today, and I have with me a representative of the church. So I'd like you to introduce yourself properly and your position in the church, sir.
I am Pastor Paul Adebola Abiodun Onadeko, the senior pastor in this church. And I was the interpreter for the late founder of this church, the person of Reverend Samuel Akimbode Sadela. And I'm also the interpreter for the current general overseer, the person of Pastor Moses Ajani Adewumi. So I am aware of everything and I'm in a position to state the position of the church and what happened.
So let us properly transit from there. I mean, you already introduced it. So you set the tone already. Can you give us an account of what actually transpired on the day that mishap happened?
Yes, normally for Gospel Apostolic Church worldwide, we usually have quarterly ministers conference. All ministers in Gospel Apostolic Church are aware of this. They will come at the set time, we tell them beforehand. And on the 1st of November, year 2000, all ministers were here for the first day of the meeting. Late pastors Reverend Samuel Akimbode Sadela normally preside over such conferences. Ministers will come on the day of arrival, register their presence, and then they will stay around. The next morning meeting will go ahead. Samuel Akimbode Sadela would come down as appointed time to lead everything. On the day of arrival, Pastor Osa came here, Pastor Garuba, as you said, registered his presence, but did not sleep overnight. He went somewhere else. And then in the morning of the meeting, came in. And when he got in, he came late because we were about starting, we were already ready. About would have been able even to be coming down to maybe about 10, 20 minutes. And then he asked the CSO of this church for biro. And the one said he could not give it because he had only one. And then he said that he had a higher denomination of money with him that was spare him 100 naira so that he'll be able to get back because those who are selling may not have change and he wouldn't want problem. So the one said he had to come in to his office to collect money and give him. That's where they followed themselves inside. On getting inside, while the one removed money from his clothing, the other one saw Pastor Osa, saw money gun on the corner of the road, and that was what made him to remember prior discussion he has had with the CSO that there were instances of armed robbery and violence in the station, that he would like to protect himself, there, that he would like to protect himself. And then on that day, he asked the man, look, have you discussed this with the other opportunity? But that they would discuss. Then he asked that he wanted gun. When he saw the man said, look, you cannot have a gun without license. You must have license.
All of this in your presence, sir?
No,
all these conversations when you're oh, okay.
No, I was not privy to their conversations. But whatever goes on the church, as a senior pastor, it will be related to me. I have information at my disposal. So when the man, they were here and they gave him the money, there was a call that was outside that is Baba Sadela was getting ready to come down for the meeting. He had to go and answer because he must always be at his duty post. It was while he was there, I was told that a big bang was heard. And when people rushed him, they heard him saying, I have finished myself. The gun was there, blood was flowing out, and we have professionals in this church. Immediately, a medical doctor was called to come and pick him and some other pastors here to take him to hospital, because anything that happens, we must first of all take care of people. We must first of all take care of people. They took him to Lasut. At Lasut, we attended to, medical report was given, and in the medical report it was said it was accidental discharge. Accidental discharge. The CSO was not with him while he was examining the gun. But on coming inside, when they saw this thing, they got there. And even after last week, he was taken to another hospital, Mandela Hospital, that he was taken care of. And after discharge, Baba Sadela himself out there, well, all of you are my children, all ministers under me are my children. You will not go back to Akwa Ibom, but I will personally take care of you here. He was given a quarter here. And then personal cook was taken for him. And then he was still collecting his salary. They were cooking for him. But unknown to Babas at the time for some period, because they made him to look and go and be having revival in various branches of the church, wherever you can fit. Go, revival, the money you are given there, your salary is your own. Nothing. And then after some time, they just noticed girls coming in here on towards things that we was having different issues with them. Then Papa Sadela felt that no, we can't support small girls like this. Small girls. What do you want to? You are teaching them, but you are doing another thing with them. No, having carnal knowledge of them.
So if you're just joining, who we have live now is Pastor Onodeko is representing the Gospel Apostolic Church, responding to allegation leveled against the church, the CSO, and the founding GO, Reverend Sadela. He said that he was shot in the eyes and abandoned afterwards. So I'm sorry. So your transmission, you went off for a moment and you're back. Thank you for coming back. So you were talking about, so far, before you continue, sir, you have been able to say a few things. First, you said you went there when they had conversations before the gun went blasting. You only heard it was only related to you. You also said that it was the one fiddling with the gun. It was also the one who requested for the gun to go and protect himself in Akwa Ibom. You also said that Reverend Sadela of blessed memory opted to undertake all the medical expenses and also keep him closer so that they can continue to cook for him and do everything for him. Also offered that he should be holding revivals and be taking the proceeds for himself and not remit it to the church. All of these things, yes. So those are the things you have said so far. So the last one you were saying before the network took you off temporarily was that, you said that he started having some teenage girls. And he was having carnal knowledge of them, and then Baba didn't like that. Okay, so these are like counter allegations now. So let's continue.
Yes, and after this, Baba said, look, for the benefit and for the name and integrity not be going on under his roof, he was shifted to Songo. They found another good place for him, where a minister would take care of him. He had his own personal quarters there. Even a cook was found for him there again, cooking for him, still doing the work. But to the despair of Baba Sadela in his lifetime, he left that place after 2 years And when they were asking for him, he locked the door, he didn't leave it open, and they called him severally, said, well, he was not lost, he was not dead, that they should not bother about him. But in a sense, what happened later was, we found a letter from the office of lawyer Keyamu, threatening that if they don't do certain things, they will perfect the instructions of their client. To that extent, Papa was surprised. And with all I've done, with all these things, then the lawyer's choice, the church lawyer, they have to pick up something and wrote and give them a detail of what happened. And then they said, well, if they were not satisfied and they will go to court, well, they will know what to do to meet in court. But again, do not forget, this same person, Pastor Garuba, he reported to the Oba of Benin. And Oba of Benin wrote a letter, caused his secretary then to write a letter to Baba Sadela, inviting Baba Sadela to come to Benin at the palace. Baba Sadela said at the age of 112 years, he would not be able to travel to Benin, but he would send a worthy representative to the palace. And he sent that representative in the company of another person. And when they got there, they met the king and the king in council with other chiefs, high chiefs there. And when they related the matter and showed them all documents, then they were surprised. Said, one, this medical report that our son brought to us, it could not have been genuine because these people have brought, you can see the logo of the hospital, the stamp, everything was there. It would be authentic. But above all, when they saw and had the explanation and saw all documentary evidence, then the Oba and the chief said, the person was said, should please plead with Baba Sadela that he should take care of this person and forgive him. And Baba Sadela, he said, well, they will come back in 3 days' time. And in 3 days' time, what they did was even a surprise for people there because Baba Sadela wrote a check of 500,000 naira, cash, 100,000. Then, that was in 2012, Baba Sadela wrote a check of 500,000, gave a cash because in case, that time, interstate clearance will take time, 100,000, in case you need anything. Then the person who was sent as representative of Baba Sadela gave 100,000, making 700. Then the 100,000 sent to the Oba of Benin and the money of the chiefs. The Oba immediately said, even this money, we will not hold. Give everything to us, sir. Let him take care of himself. But you should not hear him going about labeling or disparaging the name of the church and Baba Sadela. So everything we are talking here was close 1 million. And to the surprise of everybody, at the demise of the king, even Baba Sadela, we had a case was brought, taken to court, where judgment was gotten fraudulently. Why? Because the matter was never served. Notice was never served. Notice was never served to the church. They only got to know when another, because of the same, when they got judgment for 500 million, where notice was not served, were not given time for fair hearing to state their case, then even the belief that delivered as at that time show you as a letter from the Federal Judicial Service Commission that belief has been dismissed from office, from service. The panel that investigated recommended him for compulsory retirement, but what they did was that the Judicial Service Commission, without any, because on the level of that belief is still going around because committed against God and not serving, and then that is served. But even if they got judgment, why should you, when you have gotten judgment, you go and file another case? at the High Court. And then in that case, you can see this is the suit number FHC stroke L stroke CS stroke 2040 stroke 2014 before IN Buba. And it was not justice that said, "Look, want this matter to the other thing them because them you can't say you won't find any. I think you must find some. So in that, as I've said, what the some
Okay. I,
I want to go from
the network over there is actually too poor. I don't know. You have only two bar on your streaming network. I don't know if you have a better one, but let's continue. All the same, I know you want to read all of this to us, but I want to plead that no, I mean you have no, I mean I understand that you want to show documents to us, right? Oh, so sorry. So if you're just joining, we hope that they change for better network and come back. That is representative of the church of Gospel Apostolic Church, founded by Reverend Samuel Sadela. So you have heard, most of you reached out. The church is now responding, and that is exactly what we are currently treating. So far, there have been counter allegations by the church as being stated by the representative of the church. Now, I was going to ask him before he went off, and I can see that he's making attempts to come back. So if you followed this matter from beginning, you may want to also share this with those who were interested from the beginning but are not aware that we are live treating this case again. I want to ask the representative of the church as he is coming back if there are evidences of the allegations that Pastor Garba, the victim, was actually bringing young girls to church and having carnal knowledge of them in the church. You're welcome back, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir? I can see your network is still struggling. I don't know what network you're using, but it's flashing yellow signal with just two bars. I really don't want us to do this two times. Let's just be patient. So far, there have been counter allegations, and there are two opposites now. The man alleged that he didn't request for a gun, that it was Reverend Sadela who said that he should give him a gun because he had reported earlier that there were robbery incidences around his own parish in Akwa Ibom, in his own state, and that they already had some grudges against him before, some of the colleagues, and that he was in the course of asking him to go and meet the CSO to get a gun. They displayed several guns on the table and asked him to pick one. So while he was asking whether there are licenses for the gun, he had a blast that they faced the gun to him and said, "This one is working," and they just shot him in the eyes. But the representative of the church, even although he said he wasn't there, he said what was related to him was that he was the one fiddling with the gun and asking for a gun. Another question I would really like to ask the pastor. Okay, he's still making attempts to come back. Just a moment, please. Okay, I think he's back now. Yeah, I'm up. If you are just joining, if you have any question for the church representative, you can leave them in the comment section. Pastor's gist with Lady P. How do we know who is lying? That's exactly why we're here. Oduduwa has arrived, says, Wahala deal, what did you say? Well, let's all be here together to continue to listen to the pastor. It's network wahala. We are both in Lagos using different networks. I am about to switch from 2 separate networks previously to the third one now. Pastor also has to switch. It's unfortunate. That's where we are in Nigeria. I'll just wait a bit more and see if he will come back. He's making efforts to come back, but I understand network is not on his side. So let me run through again for those who are just joining. First, Pastor Garba alleged that he was shot in the eyes by CSO of Reverend Sadela of blessed memory. He alleged that he was abandoned after little attempts to help him get treatment. He said other promises to him, including to fly him abroad for proper medics, not good. A car, help him start his own church and establish on his own, were also not fulfilled. Alleged also that he has been abandoned up to the time that he took them to court because he was neglected and abandoned. And at the end of the day, he won in the court up to Supreme Court. Did he say, okay, I learned they are now appealing. The church is now appealing. The court awarded 500 million naira against the church. The account of the church was garnished. Some of the questions I was going to ask the pastor, not the court, to respond to. The church account has about 4 billion naira in lend. So he's back now. So let's continue. Yeah, you're welcome back, sir. Hello, Pastor. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. Please check your audio. Okay, your audio is back. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I just want to read part of the Justice Buba concerning what Pastor Garuba took to court. Pastor Garuba is not to be believed. I think as right, the applicant is an ungrateful man in spite of all that the respondent did for him. The incident he brought to bear on himself. Carefully kept away all the facts of his assistance and what transpired on the fateful day and reinvented the story. The events the applicant also skillfully kept or concealed the protocol and the UPA check of 15th October, which was issued to him. This court does not believe the facts. The applicant on the face of the court to secure a sympathy that it does not deserve. Facts are sacred. Human beings lie. Applicant in this case went with a loaded gun like a small child, has himself to blame. In spite of all the efforts made to rehabilitate him, he is still an unrepentant, ungrateful man of God as he is. Men of God should not lie in ordinary matters, let alone an oath before God. You can see what this means.
So that's what what you just read now is a court judgment.
Yes. By judge.
Okay. Well,
part of the part
There
of
is
the
also,
people.
okay, fine. So, but there is also judgment against the church. You know, he will read his own, you would read your
John,
own. And I
yes,
understand that somehow the you know, it will just continue like that until
that
maybe there's a closure. And like
I
I
would say,
said before, my own view-
I say this to you. I agree with you
go ahead, sir.
that when you say, I agree with you when you said there was a judgment before, but that was fraudulently gotten because
Okay,
the proceedings were not served on the church. And then when we found that out, we went to court with facts. We even are now at the court of appeal now, and we know that judgment will be set aside because we are at the court of appeal now. And let me say this to you: even if you had judgment and you believe you could have even gone to do something about it, why do you need to go and file another case on the same? And then, as I showed you before, here it is on the fraudulent foundation. Government cannot stand. A belief who went to serve has been dismissed from service. Even the committee that investigated the matter,
okay. The court aspect.
they, they,
Sorry, sir.
no dismissal.
The court the court aspect I would like to leave on the side. I would like to leave the court aspect for court.
Yes,
Because
okay.
matters that are in court, I really do not like to delve in them. I'm also aware, for instance, that
That is
the Court of
brilliant. That's
Appeal is
good. Yes,
already
that's the way it should be.
that, like I'm also that the Court of Appeal has advised that you both go for ADR, that is alternative dispute resolution. I don't know if that information is correct, but I learned so through his lawyer that the Court of Appeal is already calling both parties and sending you to ADR to go and to go for mediation. I would want to say, sir, there are so
Yes.
many questions, some of which I do not really want to ask. One of them is, but for clarity's sake, because a lot of people are wondering, what were guns doing in the church? Uh, I
Thank you
mean,
for that question.
what were guns doing in the church in the first instance?
Thank you for that question. Only one, and I will tell you what happened. Anybody who is conversant with Sholu as at that time, or even before that time, as at that time, armed robbery in the daytime, in the night time, nowhere. And we got even permission that protection of fundamental human rights. And then Sholuyi Bariga, as at that time, even don't forget, we were the first people to come here. This place was a bush before, and even all those times, we were the only ones here. The experiences we've had, people coming in the daytime, robbing people, killing people, and then in the night. So when the situation is like that, as a minister of God, who is responsible for the sheep, you must find a way to protect yourself. Even people need to
Mm.
protect themselves. Sholuyi Bariga at that time was terrible indeed. And only one God,
Okay,
I'm
so
talking about the one God. And don't forget, as the CSO, it was his duty post to even to do this thing. And we were having ministers conference, don't
so
worry, as at that time.
did the CSO
Everybody,
now? So did the CSO leave his own gun on the table for another person to fiddle? I want to understand
no, no, no,
that.
no.
I mean, whatever transpired
Okay.
there. Or did you go and
You had the
snatch the gun from the CSO?
no, he did not
Because I'm
snatch the
trying to
gun.
relate your own. Uh-huh.
The gun was kept in a place. He saw it, and that was even made him to remember the discussion he had with the man before. That since he was having trouble in Akwa Ibom, he would like to have a gun to protect himself. Then that was when he asked the man, CSO, have you told Papa Sadela? He said he has not, that he would discuss. And while that one went outside, that was when he was examining it. So anybody,
So that
if you
the
have a
CSO
right
left
to,
his gun. The CSO left his gun, and after the CSO went out, he was now fiddling or examining the gun.
The CSO, he kept it
Left the
in a
gun and
different
went out.
place. He wanted Biro, not gun. No. He wanted Biro. It was Biro money for Biro they came for. Don't forget, it was money for Biro that he wanted. But when
I
there was a
understand.
call,
So
Baba
the
Sadela
CSO
was
now
ready
left
to
his gun and went out.
No, not he left it for him. It was in the place where it was
Not
kept,
for
not that
him.
he left.
I know. I'm just saying the CSO left his gun inside and went
No,
outside.
no. It was where it was kept. He went there to take it. Not that the CSO gave him or left it with him.
No, I did not say the CSO gave him. We are saying the same thing, sir. The
Yes, I
CSO
know
went
what you're
out,
saying.
the gun was inside. The
The
CSO went out
CSO was with him.
and
The
his gun was
CSO was with
inside.
him. When a call came, and then he had to go. He had to go
I'm saying the same thing,
outside.
sir. But the CSO did not go. Okay, the CSO did not go with his gun.
No, he did not go out with his gun.
That's
It was
what
where
we
it
are
was
saying the same
kept.
thing, sir.
Uh,
Okay, so the CSO left his gun inside, went outside to go and answer a call.
yes.
Okay, I just wanted that part to be clear. Okay,
Thank you. God
then
bless you.
all right. So now, so afterwards, so far, court today and tomorrow, you said that he was given 500,000 naira. He said he admitted too that at some point they were taking care of him until suddenly they went to go and abandon him in one place at Songo, and then he was abandoned, and after a while he heard nothing again, and then he was angry that he was asking what is going on. You guys have abandoned me. What is happening? And at some point he was fed up and had to go to court. Okay, court
Okay.
aside now, I learned that the church account was garnished. Is
No,
what you are
hold on.
feeling now?
Let me react to what you said, what he told you. It was never
Okay.
abandoned. And I will tell you why. Where he was taken to, Songo, we have a big branch of the church there with building for ministers. And he was given an apartment there with a personal cook for him. Everything was there for him. Not that he was abandoned. No, he was not abandoned. But if you were the head of the church and you are keeping somebody within your vicinity at the headquarters, and somebody is doing what is contrary to what you are preaching, what do? When young girls,
You put
small
him in check.
girls are being abused, they are
You
being
put him
brought
in
in.
check.
So
I
and then
would
it
even
was
think,
never abandoned. Because that word abandoned is not what I will agree with. I won't agree with it. It
okay,
was kept there. Every
I would
facility
even,
was given to
sir, I would even think if it is true that young girls were coming to whether it's dormitory in the church and he was doing untoward things, I would think that going to put him in another place far away from where you can see his activity and put him in check is even more dangerous.
there's a
I would
minister
think that
there.
I would think that where it
In the
can be
midst of
properly
ministers there.
kept.
Not one minister there, not two, there were ministers there. So that at least this is the headquarters. Under the roof of Baba Sadela, the age of over 100. We're talking over 112 years. And then
And there are
what
no
would
other people. There are no other people. There are no other people. There are no other people, including his CSO, who could be stopping girls from coming to his dormitory under Baba's roof there.
so when you have done so nobody, but there are some decisions, there are some hard decisions people have to take some time for the name and the reputation of the church. If you are responsible indeed, you'll have to take certain
Okay, so
decision.
let's move on.
I've
I
seen
learned that
where
the
a
church
minister of God
account
has
was
even
garnished.
sent his son to go and live with his brother in another place. That instead of my eyes to see all these things that I'm told at my age, go and stay with my brother, he will take care of you there. And he did that
Okay,
for his own son.
okay. So let's talk about the church account. I learned it was garnished, and
The
I learned it
what?
has about 4 billion naira. The church account, was it frozen on order of the
Yes.
court?
In fact, thank you. I thank you very much for that question you asked, that you brought up. I thank you for bringing out that issue, the issue of Ganishiota. Do you know that it was EcoBank that even made the church to be aware that something was going on when they wrote a letter to the church that, look, we have another year they've given us, can you see other hope to place on your account? Then that was when the church said, we didn't go to court with anybody, we don't know what happened. That was what made them to be aware. They were not aware. It was
Okay,
after this.
what is the status of the accounts today? Has that garnishee order been lifted?
No, the church is being held to ransom. The church is being held to ransom. We cannot touch the money. We cannot do anything with the money. We cannot touch the money.
Okay, so
We don't even have, we don't have 4 billion.
as I was
But if you are praying for us, because the mouth of the voice of man is the voice of God. If you are praying for us to have 4 billion, we'll get there in the name of Jesus Christ. But for now, we don't even
Amen.
have important. It's the Holy Spirit that can move you to say we have 4 billion. And we'll have more
That's
than
good.
4 billion. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, that's good. All of us will have more than 4 billion. So let us
You
put
too
it
will
this
have.
way. I don't know how
I too
much.
will have.
Amen. I don't know how much is in that account, but then what is the status? Is it still frozen as we speak?
It's frozen.
Okay,
You
so
can't touch it.
okay, that is what you are appealing in the courts, at the appellate court now. That's what you are appealing.
All those things because to set aside the judgment and then let us,
Okay,
because there are so many things we want to have done that we are being held to ransom.
okay. So I was saying that we should leave court aside and talk. Let us, if you want to use mediation to
Okay,
address this
I'm hearing you.
situation, now that it has come to public, I mean, people are now talking about it. A lot of people are interested. People are raising why church and pastor will be having this kind of issue, that it will now be coming to the media. I tried in the past. I placed some calls to say I don't want this issue to be forth and back. I wanted it resolved because I so much respect certain quarters, some institutions, including the church. I always like to say if things can be resolved without making noise, they should better be. But after I placed some calls, I tried to, in fact, I reached out. I don't want to mention his name because I said he would like his name to be kept out of it. That he also tried to talk to the church. It was then we then said, okay, let's just do a short interview and talk about this situation. Um, if we, as I speak with you, apart from what I said, the Court of
Yes,
Appeal Ireland has
yes.
also advised that you go for ADR, alternative dispute resolution. That means we are all saying the same thing already now. So, court aside, what do you think can be
Okay,
done at this time?
okay.
What do you
Thank you
think
very
can be done
much.
at this time? Can
Thank
can
you
there
very
be a
much.
round table? Can there be
I
a
think
round table?
I,
Okay.
let me respond. Thank you very much for what you said. You know, Baba Sadela in his lifetime was open to everybody. And the Oba of Benin calling him, inviting him to his palace. Baba Sadela, because he could not travel because of old age, he sent somebody. They went there. They had mediation there at the palace of the king. The king told him certain things that, look, these people, they have done this for you. Enough is enough. I don't want you saying so many things. But look at what he has done. Even despite that, he put that aside. And what he was saying concerning Baba Sadela, all those things, when it came out the first time, members were furious, but they said, no, leave it, it's all right. Second time, third time, when you say all these things to blackmail people, to paint people bad in the eyes of the world, I mean, how will you, are you encouraging mediation? If you're encouraging mediation, you will not go to that extent. So
He
many
said it is
unprintable.
because he said it is because he made several attempts and he was neglected, he was ignored. He said that is why he is. I also made this
You
attempt. Yes, I also made this
made,
attempt. And I
made
can
this.
give you name, I can give you name behind, I mean, outside of this interview of the attempt we made. That person also made attempt very close to the church and then came back and said, well, at this point, I don't know what else to do. I mean, just keep my name out of it. Go ahead and do your stuff. It was at that point I said, well, let's see whether if we start talking about it, the church will respond. We are glad you are now responding. Uh, Does the church,
So,
will the church
can I, can I
welcome
ask you a question?
mediation? Okay, sir.
Before we move on, can I ask you a question? When he
Go ahead,
said he
sir.
tried everything, he said he would be talking because he wanted to force some things on the down the throat of the church. That was why he was saying all those spurious things, all those bad things, painting the church black, painting Baba Satella as an African man. You don't speak ill of the dead, especially old people. And then Baba Itomo, you are saying all these things concerning him that were not true. I,
Well,
as
he was
an
just telling his own
interpreter of the
story.
Bible, I was always with him. He was telling his own side of the story, but we must always do that with the fear of God. Because today
Okay,
you know,
so
tomorrow you don't know.
will the church be
Eh?
open to mediation at this time? Will the church
Well,
be open to round
we have a
tables?
matter, we have the matter in court. Let us resolve
Okay,
that. When we
okay.
resolve that, we know where we go from there. But let me tell you one thing, sincerely, even if you are quarreling with somebody or you have a situation, you don't need to say bad things or falsehood concerning that person so that you want to force their hands to do certain things. But have an open mind and be fair-minded. That, okay, let us see where we go. But since they didn't listen to me, I begin to say what I like and say that. I will tell you one thing, my brother. I'm afraid of this God. When you do some things to other people and God is keeping quiet, the person may keep quiet. What of if God asks question that how can you do this? Touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm, and you begin to say, but even let's leave that aside. When we go to God and we finish with that one is done, move there, we can go to place. You know, like politicians say, they say, no permanent enemy,
Trouble with
no
network.
permanent friend. The network is going, can't hear me? Can you hear me?
No, not this.
Chegbolilo, can you hear me?
Okay, you're back. I can hear you now. Oh, it went off
We
for a
will move
moment.
from there. Nothing is permanent, nothing is, but everything according to the law of God. But sincerely, even if you are saying we want to do this thing, it should not be saying all these things that is saying concerning an old man that are not true. I was interpreting for Baba Sadela. If he was carrying a live tortoise on his neck, it is sincerely not. We have to be careful. Please let us be concerned. You know the matter is in court now. If the soul says that I do
And
something,
I'm aware that the
then
court, even the court has advised that you go for mediation, that you go for alternative resolution
uh,
outside of court. So
yes,
meaning that the court is
yes,
even tired of your case, the two of you.
yes. But let me tell you something. Uh, well, they were at the palace of the king told him that no, this matter will be settled here. That you should not take it to any other place. And that if he would get any contrary report, Oba promised that he would write a letter against you. But he waited until the man died before he started doing things. It was after the demise of the king that he went about saying all this thing. But you know words are powerful. Once they are spoken, they have effect. They may not have effect now, in 1,000 years, in 500 years, they may begin, the effect may come out. But that's why we have to be careful. And sincerely, I respect what you said. That when I pray that all of us will become billionaires, you too, you said amen. Yes, if you have money, you can fund the church. Because right now, because of that Ganeshi order, we cannot touch our money.
So that's exactly why I'm saying if we go for a reconciliatory meeting, and who knows if he withdraws the case against the church, it's over. I'm just calling for
Yes,
a roundtable now where everybody can, you know, peaceably, I mean, peacefully resolve this
yes,
without further rancor.
yes, I can hear what you are saying. Yes, okay. I will think about that. I will think about that. And I will respond.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much. I will also tell him that you have assured me that the church will welcome a roundtable conversation where this
Yes,
matter can.
I
I
will
will
think
tell
about it
him,
and
and
respond to
then I
you.
will also. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I pray that all of these Robodinos, like it is said in Yoruba, topsy-turvydom can just end at once. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, Pastor
Repeat what you
Nodeko.
said in Yoruba. Repeat what I want to catch that. Repeat.
Yoruba use the word rugbodiyan. Exactly. I only attempted a fair interpretation translation in English language. Okay, so thank you so much for
Okay.
your time. We will
Can I
we
say
will
one
keep
thing?
talking.
Can I just say one thing? If the
Okay, sir.
call, if calls for mediation, as you are saying, as
Yes.
we everybody will know. But how long will they continue to blackmail to say bad things? If the
No,
court of appeal, like I told you,
once we have the roundtable conversation, I mean, there could be a document emerging from that where everybody signs that I'm satisfied with the outcome, and this is the end of this case. I will no longer go out to speak about it because I'm satisfied with outcome of our reconciliatory
no
meeting.
problem. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you.
I
And
must
God
thank
will
you also,
resolve
Sir
all the
Pastor
problems.
Nodeko.
God
Thank you
bless
so
you.
much for
You are
your time,
sharing
and
one love.
we'll keep talking. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Shegun Olawoye,
ah,
Ola for short.
Shegun Olawoye. Okay. God bless you. It is well.
Thank you
It
so
is your
much,
cap that will give you. Thank you.
sir.
It's been nice talking to you.
I did-
I said it's been
My
nice talking
pleasure,
to
sir.
you.
So thank you so much.
But
Thank you
you
so much,
give me
sir.
your star as a gift. Did you hear
My
that?
cap.
You are spoiled. You give me your cap as a New Year gift. I wanted you to remove it. God bless you. It's
Okay,
well
sir.
with you.
At least you can see my face very well.
Oh yes, I can see your face, sir. I can see the face of the
Okay,
billionaire.
this is my real face. Thank you so much
God,
for joining everybody who managed to do even despite the network that was fluctuating. And thank you so much, Pastor Nodeko. Thank you to the church representative. Thank you to the legal team who reached out and connected me with you. And we'll continue talking off camera. And I'm very sure that we'll reach a very good conclusion, outcome of this at the end of the day.